called Putin in order to get Putin's help to bring the war to an end. Trump is now looking for an off-ramp.
So after a very mysterious phone call with Vladimir Putin, Trump just made the announcement that perhaps they might be ending the war in Iran. They are very far ahead of schedule. Nobody knows what they talked about.
He called Vladimir Putin. Putin didn't call him. He called Vladimir Putin because Trump is in a bind.
So Trump reached out to Iran and said, hey, let's have talks. Iran responded and said, it's Ramadan and we don't have talks with the devil on Ramadan. Call us back when Ramadan is over. Come on.
One of the reasons that America is losing this war, and they are losing this war, is because Trump was the school bully. So you're not gonna do what I think? Fuck you. Here. You're gonna do, I'm gonna cut off multiply. Sanction. Fuck you. You're not my friend? Fuck you. Well, buddy, it's that guy. And Americans are so dumb, they still believe him. Americans need to get their head out their ass, yo. Come on. Dumbasses.
You know, the people that lived through World War I also had no idea what was happening. Their press was also lying to them.
Can we just admit that Iran is just oil farming at this point? Because when President Macron of France demanded that they open up the Strait of Hormuz, you know what these guys said? They said safe passage can't be promised as long as the fires ignited by the US and Israel continue. Like, bro, they must have been listening to SD Kid or something when they was writing it up.
So apparently Iran has been studying the Iron Dome for a long time. This is Tel Aviv. That footage was taken yesterday, March 4th. Iran knows that both Israel and the United States are low on weapons. As you've heard, the U.S. actually asked Ukraine for help. Not only are we low on weapons, it sounds like our military strategy has been to purchase like psychotically expensive, bizarre weapons and not to actually fill our military with more members or train them really well or stock up on the smaller missiles. And so Iran's strategy is to send their shittiest missiles first, wear down the dome, wear us out to the point where we don't have a lot of ammunition left. And then I fear that they may have some like hidden surprises. This is not a good situation. And so the military strategists who are online saying like the US has a very good chance of losing this war, they're not wrong.
What's up, River?
After the president's request, General, China, Japan, South Korea, the UK are giving the U.S. a kind of wait-and-see response to helping with the Strait of Hormuz. Can the U.S. do it without a coalition?
You go into the Hormuz and beyond, you are now under a lot of Iranian fires. And we risk losing not just cargo ships, but warships.
Yeah, I mean, you said it has to be done. That is the big quandary, though. You know, how does it get done? Because this morning, Iran's foreign minister said that they are talking to some countries about getting through Hormuz, but it won't be the U.S. or even countries helping the U.S. in its attack on Iran. So when President Trump talks about U.S. Navy ship escorts, do you see that as viable and possible?
I see it as possible, but it is very likely that we will have ships hit because you're going right into the hornet's nest. You've got Iranian forces on the banks of Hormuz. You've got 21 miles width, but they can range out deep. And we can have our aircraft over and everything else, but in the end, the ships have to go through, and a very, very serious risk that some will be hit.
Then do you see it as worth it?
Oh, gosh, that's a great question. I think that I think everybody will have a different answer for that. We are now at a position where we have put ourselves, as I said, into a hornet's nest. Not doing it lets up on Iran, it also puts, again, major pressure on the global economy, let alone our own economy and the regional economy. So I think we are now in a position where you work hard behind the scenes doing diplomacy, but you've got to be able to get assets through, but at considerable risk, and that's the problem. I believe this has probably been war gamed at CENTCOM for years, saying that it's still hard when you've got to do it.
Okay, well, that's going to be a tough thing for a lot of family members of military personnel to swallow and to hear. And obviously, I mean, it is a very tough job, but these are some very frightening decisions that have to be made involving a lot of people. Brigadier General Peter Schwach, thank you so much.
Hi, my people. Welcome to my channel. My name is Nishika. Thank you so much for tuning in and kindly subscribe to my channel. So we are looking at the situation where the orange man called Vladimir Putin and asked for help, asking him to talk to Iranians to end this war. And of course, what did Putin say? Of course, he has to come up with his own terms and conditions on how he can help the Americans to end this war. And of course, he himself, he has to benefit. Remember, before the orange man called Vladimir Putin, he had to call Iran and say, hey, let's go on the table, let's talk about this, let's bring this war let's bring this war to an end. But of course, Iranians said, we came to the table twice, and America kaboom us twice. So this time around, we are not talking. We are ready for war. We are ready for you. So what did the orange man do? He decided to call Vladimir Putin, and Putin emphasized, he called me first, not the other way around. Of course, he has to have his own strategy. Why? Because we all know Vladimir Putin is a man of strategy. He is a leader of Russia for the longest time, not because he's stupid, because he's very intelligent, and of course he's very strategic. So of course he's gonna ask for some benefits from this situation. Why did Orange Man ask Vladimir Putin for help? Because we all know Russia has good relations with Iran. Russia and China have very good relations with Iran, and they've been supporting Iran for the longest time. And whether they support this war or not, we may never know. But one thing is for sure, the people who can literally talk to Iran and they listen is either China or Iran. It's either China or Russia. Americans right now, they don't have any face to talk to Russia, to talk to Iran. That is the reality. And they know it. Why? Because twice, when they were in the middle of negotiation, they kaboom the Iranians. So there's loss of trust. And if there's loss of trust, believe you me, you cannot come on the table and start a negotiation. You need a middle person to bring the two parties together, to sit down and come up with the terms and conditions to end this war. So let's watch this video and then we're going to discuss it at the end. And yes, who's going to win this war? Who's going to lose this war? At the end of the day, the whole world is suffering because oil prices is extremely expensive right now, and the normal people cannot afford it. That is the reality.
Breaking news: Russia just signed Ukraine's death warrant. Trump removed sanctions on Russia to help oil flow amid Iran conflict. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said it was unfortunate that the move would benefit Russia, but maintained it was only for the short term. What that means is Russia now can all the reserves that Russia has had that no one has been buying since the beginning of the war, all the sanctions that were put on Russia, all gone. Now Russia can sell everything and Russia can use that money. Oh yeah, it's over for Ukraine. It is over for Ukraine.
If you go to my TikTok, backup TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, you'll see a link there to my link tree, where you can find the email sign up for future meetups that I'm doing, dinners in the city and other cities. You can find my Cash App, my Venmo, my Calendly for people that have been hitting me up saying they want to talk. Schedule an appointment. You can find my YouTube, and if you like what I'm doing and you want to subscribe to my Patreon, that's it right there. Thank you very much.
You're shocked? You're shocked that he lied about troop casualty numbers? You're shocked that the President of the United States tried to hide 150 injured troops that were injured by his direct actions, starting a war that he told you he was never going to do. You're shocked by that. Are you also shocked every day that the sun rises in the east? Every day you're like, oh, we didn't think it was going to be in the east today. Do you not have a long or short-term memory? Is the MAGA hat covering up scars from brain surgery that destroyed your ability to have object permanence? You fucking Looney Tune! How are you shocked that he and everyone surrounding him lied? He lies about everything. Everything. He's been president, off and on, for a decade. He's been in the media my entire life. He is the world's most famous fucking liar. And you're shocked he would lie about people and casualty numbers for our troops. He lied about COVID. Don't you remember COVID numbers? He lied about it every week. Every fucking... We all lived through that shit. It was 6 years ago. What are you, 8? You're not 8. You're 54 years old. Stop pretending like you don't fucking remember everything. You do. You're just pretending at this point. All right? Because if you're not pretending, then you're a fucking idiot. Is that better? Then write fucking idiot on your hat. Because that's what MAGA means at this point.
So I'm starting to notice that more and more Americans are starting to come to the conclusion that America is not the hero, but in fact the villain. That America is one of the biggest bullies to ever set foot in society and civilization. That America ain't shit, to be honest. Quite frankly, America is horrible. No, in all honesty, how many international leaders has the United States CIA overthrown, captured, held captive, tortured, sent into exile, executed, all in the name of greed? All in the name of greed, or just because? Just because you're doing something that I don't want you to do.
So I'm trying to get an understanding of what all is going on with y'all's president. On one hand, he said he spoke to Vlad. He said he spoke to Putin and that the conversation went very well and that Putin wants to help be productive in this conflict, this war happening with Iran and Israel and the U.S. Then cut to Vlad putting out an official statement, or the Kremlin putting out an official statement on behalf of Vlad, being like, we want to congratulate Iran on their new supreme leader, and we want it to be clear that we're going to continue to be partners and to support Iran and Tehran. What are y'all president talking about? Like, why is that man always saying something different than everybody else? Y'all's president interacts with the Kremlin and with Putin in a different way than he interacts with everyone. This is supposed to be a sworn enemy of democracy. And y'all's president rolls out the red carpet for him quite literally, puts him in the back of the beast and drives around the place with him doing photo op. Now he's saying he had a conversation with him and the conversation went swimmingly and everything was great during that conversation. Like, is this your homeboy? Are y'all old friends catching up during these conversations? Like, what is going on? And is Russia not providing intelligence to Iran during this situation? What? Somebody help me figure this out. Help me figure this out expeditiously.
Tucker Carlson just said something that many Americans are rightfully worried about right now, and that's the fact that another homeland attack, like 9/11 for example, would be needed to justify sending ground troops into Iran. Take a look.
And there is zero appetite for that in this administration, much less in the country. Israel would like us to commit ground troops, obviously, but it would take a lot to get us to do that. It would take some sort of terror attack in the United States, probably like 9/11, in order for us to do that. But that hasn't happened yet.
Now, the timing of all of this is what has everybody concerned. Donald Trump recently stated that he was briefed on the possibility of terrorist sleeper cells. Additionally, Army investigators are offering a reward of up to $5,000 as they're actively searching for whoever stole 4 drones from Fort Campbell. We've also recently been told there's a possibility Iran will use drones to attack California. This has people questioning if they're setting up a possible false flag operation to justify U.S. ground troops being sent to Iran. Now, we know the United States has a history of doing this. That's not a conspiracy theory. The most prominent example is Operation Northwoods. This was a top-secret proposal from the Joint Chiefs of Staff during the Cold War. They wanted to create a pretext for the United States to invade Cuba and overthrow Fidel Castro. They were essentially going to stage blowing up empty U.S. ships in Guantanamo Bay, faking the shooting down of a civilian airliner, and orchestrating communist Cuban terror campaigns in Florida cities. However, thankfully, President John F. Kennedy rejected the proposal in March of 1962, so it never happened. There's several other examples of this either happening or the idea being floated around as well. However, it seems like it's a very effective way to justify either invading or overthrowing the government of another country.
What's up, America? Donald Trump says the war with Iran is nearly over. So Donald Trump is saying that the mission is accomplished and the war is basically over. He alluded to the fact that the war will be coming to an end after he spoke to Vladimir Putin on the phone. So nobody knows exactly what Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin talked about. But after the phone call, there seems to be a softening in Donald Trump telling the American people that the mission is basically accomplished and they have nothing left to fight with. I'm not sure if this has to do with economic stability or easing sanctions with Russia, or maybe Russia playing a mediator between the United States and Iran, which would be absolutely stunning if that was the case. With the United States mediating between Russia and Ukraine, and Russia mediating between Iran and the United States, holy shit. But lest we forget that Afghanistan and Pakistan are still technically in a war, and it looks like Israel may invade Lebanon. And so it looks like the war in Iran could be ending quicker than we thought. At the same time, we still have information about sleeper cells from Iran, and this may put a hampering on any protests to retake the government for the people and away from the IRGC and the Khomeini regime. So I still believe the United States should play Overwatch during protests in case the IRGC wants to fuck around.
The reason why we are where we are now today with this administration, with the state of this country and everything we're dealing with right now, it is Obama's fault. It's Obama's fault. We're over there in Iran right now because of Obama. And the reason I say that is because Obama was the one who cut that deal, the original Iran deal, that, made us have highly sophisticated inspections on their facilities, security cameras, and constant surveillance on the facilities of their nuclear facilities, extensive background checks and constant monitoring of the scientists that were working on there. Yeah, all that stuff that was in that Iran deal that Obama was able to secure. Yeah, that Trump ripped up the first term that he got in fucking office. Yeah. And following could not get it done the rest of his first term, and then turn around and ain't getting it done this term, obviously. Yeah, that's why we're here, because half of the shit that Obama did, they didn't want his black ass name on that shit. So they gotta fuck it up. They gotta get rid of it. And Trump gotta stamp his fucking name on everything. Netanyahu has been trying to get a fucking administration to go into Iran for the past 30, 40 fucking years. You can literally look up fucking video clips of him saying the same shit back like in the 80s. The same shit about them he ain't switched up the playbook not one bit. The same shit. And he got one dumbass to finally go over there and fucking do it. One dumbass with the most incompetent fucking council, administration, people in positions of power fucking ever. They're unconfirmed, but there are reports floating around that the Saudis and Qatar arrested Mossad agents trying to blow up oil refineries and shit, right? Now, one would have to go back and think, what's another time that you can think of that Israeli agents aided in something like that? You have to go all the way back to, well, you don't have to go back very far. Because if I get to talking about it, they'll probably flag this video. But it's the event that sent us over there for weapons of mass destruction. Remember, just go and YouTube that lady that called NYPD, called local police on the white vans that she saw. Yeah, and people speaking Arabic or whatever, whatever that language. Yeah, and she called it, and they were arrested. Or go look at all the agents they arrested in that art school during that time period. Just go look it up. Just go look it up. That now we have U.S. casualties piling up. Now, their people are reporting, Iran people are reporting, and foreign news outlets are reporting that the casualties are almost to the 1,000. It's like 500 plus, injured or wounded. And we're only reporting like 18. I mean, and you would think that knowing that these bases were going to be vulnerable, that you would have pulled out personnel, military personnel, if you were going to pull all the defenses back to defend Israel. You would think that you would have proactively got those American soldiers, contractors, and personnel out of those bases, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, Bahrain, which is getting fucking pummeled right now. And they're saying that, bro, we don't have anything to defend because they're using all the defense supplies to defend fucking Israel. You would think that they would at least got those people out of there to protect America life, but no, your fucking president and the fucking Pete fucking Hegseth get on there and tell you, oh, that's just what happens. Casualties of war, it's just what happens. Get used to it. Oh, well. Yeah, this is a fucking shit show. It's a fucking shit show. And now you got motherfuckers getting on this very same platform that just a few months ago, they were hoop high and whoop-de-wooing about fucking MAGA. Now you talking about regret, leaving MAGA. And y'all, no.
All right, guys.
Well, folks, Donald Trump is now begging other countries for their help in his war against Iran because, quite frankly, things are just not going to plan for Donald Trump with this conflict. He's now begging war-torn countries that he has personally insulted for their assistance. And this comes after Donald Trump, when asked how he would rate the war in Iran on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how well it's going, he said 15. He said 15, it's going great. Couldn't be going better, it's perfect. Well, Donald Trump is now begging countries for their help because things are not going perfectly. So let's get into this article. Let's talk about it. This is from the Daily Beast. Trump begs war-torn country, again, a country that he's berated, for help on Iran. Donald Trump is apparently turning to war-ravaged Ukraine for help in his surprise attack on Iran. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in his nightly address Wednesday that the United States, along with other allied countries, is seeking Kyiv's assistance in defending against Iranian drones. Quote, this is what Zelensky said word for word. Partners are turning to us, to Ukraine, asking for help in defending against Iranian drones with expertise and real operational experience. There have also been requests from the American side, and I just think this is so ironic. I mean, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, the Trump administration, they've done everything they can to bully Zelensky, bully Ukraine, bully the people of Ukraine. They've basically demanded that Ukraine adhere to Russia's demands for a peace deal, which would just give Russia a bunch of land, a bunch of power, a bunch of leverage, and the ability in the future to invade Ukraine again. So Donald Trump has treated Ukraine like crap. And now he's turning around saying, hey, I hope you guys can forget about that. Let's, maybe assist with fighting Iran. Interesting. The problem is, though, is that Trump's request could lead to a dire shortage of U.S. air defense missiles in Ukraine at a moment when Ukraine's war effort has stretched into its 4th year. 2 European diplomats told Reuters there is mounting concern that Ukraine will become increasingly vulnerable as Trump drags on his bombardment of Iran. And this is something that's not getting a lot of attention. Donald Trump, either knowingly or unknowingly, is playing into Putin's hand again. I mean, he's taking a lot of American resources are focused on Iran, and we're now asking Ukraine for their missiles, their resources, which only makes them weaker and gives Russia an opportunity to strike. Obviously, Donald Trump is not thinking about this. I truly believe to this day that Donald Trump could not point to Ukraine on a map if you asked him if his life depended on it, but this is an indirect result of what Trump is doing in Iran, and it's not getting the coverage it deserves. The appeal also comes as Trump has pressed Zelensky and Ukrainian officials to strike a peace deal with Vladimir Putin, who Donald Trump has famously praised for quite some time. So Trump turning to Ukraine for assistance. Interesting. But also there's another layer here. There's been reporting that the United States is running out of munitions. that there is deep concern among the Pentagon that we're going to run out of ammo in the Middle East. And so Donald Trump has tried to qualm those fears. The other day, he put out this statement saying the United States munitions stockpile have, at the medium and upper medium grade, never been higher or better. As was stated to me today, we have a virtually unlimited supply of these weapons. Wars can be fought forever and very successfully using just these supplies, which are better than...
Donald Trump has been reduced to begging allies for help in Iran as he is clearly way in over his head. Now, as you know, the Straits of Hormuz have been a key topic of discussion lately, as Iran has shut it down, and clearly Trump and team were not prepared for this moment. Well, Donald Trump took to Truth Social today to talk about it at length, and then added this. Hopefully China, France, Japan, South Korea, the UK, and others that are affected by this artificial constraint will send ships to the area so that the Hormuz Strait will no longer be a threat by a nation that has been totally decapitated. Yeah, Donald Trump is now begging our allies. The same people who he said wouldn't help us have never helped us. The same people he's been dumping on, he is now begging for help. And that is Donald Trump begging, because he will never come out and directly ask for assistance. He views that as a sign of weakness. But Donald Trump is now learning a lesson the hard way. He has spent a year knocking down our allies, saying that we don't need them because of how great we are, and now he's in a moment where he is desperate for their help. This is going to be an interesting situation to watch. Trump is begging. Trump is pleading with other countries, please help us. Please come with us to the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, we don't want to go by ourselves, get blown up, and then look crazy. Yeah, he's begging for help because he had no plan for the Strait of Hormuz. Embarrassing as it is to say, the man clearly, this administration has no plan whatsoever. And everyone knew this would happen. Everyone. There isn't a single oil person that didn't know that Iran would do something exactly like this. And our government is somehow shocked and is somehow unprepared. That shows you how far behind this administration is. They simply have no idea what they are doing, and this here is a complete and total embarrassment. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and follow for more. Countries have responded to Donald Trump begging for help in Iran, and they're telling him to go pound sand. Now, if you missed it this morning, Donald Trump woke up and decided he would beg our allies for help in his war in Iran, specifically in the Strait of Hormuz, to escort tankers through. Well, nobody responded, so Donald Trump decided to ask again, saying, quote, the USA has beaten and completely decimated Iran, both militarily, economically, and in every other way. But the countries of the world that receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage, and we will help a lot. Yeah, well, Donald Trump said that, and countries started to respond. The UK, France, Germany have all said they're not sending any ships. Essentially telling Donald Trump, you started this war. You got into this by yourself, said you didn't need our help, said we couldn't help you if we wanted to. Now you're begging. You figure it out on your own. Donald Trump is in the find out phase of what it means to turn on your allies. And now that you need their help, surprise, surprise, they're not there.
All right, so this is a period of 2-3 weeks of the Iranian war. Americans raining missiles in Iran, of course, in partnership with Israel, and we are seeing Iranians literally shocking the whole world. Americans are shocked at the way Iranians have responded. Even Israel is shocked. Why? We are looking at Israel, we are looking at the Middle East, and the way the Iranians have strategically targeted, kaboom, the military bases of America that are based in the Middle East, the way they have literally bring down the Iron Dome, yes, that is protecting literally the Middle East, of even the Israel area. We are looking at the strategy, and you're like wondering, okay, so were they ready for this war? Were they ready for this? And yes, one of the diplomats of Iranian, they did say at one time that, yeah, we are ready. We are ready for you guys. We were ready for this war for the longest time. We are ready for the boots to come to the ground, and we are ready to take you on. And literally that statement shocked the whole world. It literally showed that what else do they have in store for the world to see? And yes, Americans are spending millions and millions, not millions, billions of dollars thanks to this war. You are seeing military bases that took years to build in the Middle East destroyed overnight, which cost taxpayer money billions of dollars. We are seeing the kind of missiles being used to kaboom Iran or yeah, being used in this war, costing American taxpayer billions of dollars every single day. While you're being told Iranians are using cheap missiles, very cheap missiles, to attack the Iron Dome, to attack the military bases that are based in America at low cost. So it's like literally Goliath. It's a situation of the Goliath and David situation we are seeing here. And people are asking, so who's going to win this war? And people literally are asking, at what cost? Because the whole world right now is feeling the pinch. The Strait of Hormuz, no ship is going through, no oil is passing through. And we all know the world operates like a global village. We all know that, yeah? If you affect one section of the world in terms of the global supply and demand, then the whole world will catch a cold. The whole world will experience, in one way or another, a loss. And that's exactly what is happening right now. As a result of this, so in a period of between 2 weeks, 3 weeks, oil prices have tripled, quadrupled. We are seeing people are forced to pay 3, 4 times, what they used to pay when they're buying oil. And the normal people cannot afford to buy expensive oil. And if there is oil that is very expensive and people start complaining, chaos is going to erupt in the community. Remember, people are operating on a budget. People are operating on a daily budget on how they can literally take care of themselves, their family, and of course pay their bills. So if oil becomes too expensive, that means everything else is going to be expensive. The bills are going to, grocery is going to be expensive. Producing food is going to be expensive. Rent is going to be expensive. Everything is going to be affected. Why? Oil plays a crucial role in our lives. Oil plays a big part of our daily lives, and that is the reality. Yes, when you go around our normal life, we don't think about oil as it's like the running fuel, the engine of our life. But now, as the repercussions are being felt, yes, people are realizing, oh my God, if you don't end this war, literally is gonna tear apart empires. And we all know American empire is being run as a result of the petrodollar. We all know what is the petrodollar. Everybody who wants to buy oil has to use the US dollar. That is the philosophy. That is the agreement that has been used for a period of over 50 years down the line, ever since the World War II ended. That is the reality. So, if this war that is causing people not to access oil, we are being told the Middle East, the Iranian, that Strait of Hormuz, is what is being used by over 20% of the world to supply oil. And if they cannot access that Strait of Hormuz right now, as time goes by, countries, people will not be able to have oil to supply to their people. People will not be able to buy oil because it's very, very expensive. Only the rich will be able to afford that. And we all know what happens when people are affected in their daily life. Chaos erupt. We have seen through history over time, if people are starved, if people are literally not able to continue operating their normal lives, usually chaos erupt. And we all know who is literally the cause of this war that is happening in Iran. The Orange Band, and of course with the help of Israel, they went and kaboom, is Iran. And the whole world woke up in the morning and realized, wow, we are in the middle of a war. How it started, why it started, that's the question people are still trying to find the answer to up to now. But the reality is, as a result of this, well, the late leader of Iran died, and of course now his son has taken over. And it's still the same regime. Of course, it's the son who's taking over, but the regime is still the same. And literally has made Iranians to say, well, we might have issues in our own house, but we don't accept outsiders to come and dictate the terms of who's going to rule our home or not. That's basically what is happening. And they've stand firm and they chose the leader, and now they're saying we are ready for this war for the longest time. So you bring it on and we're ready. So who's gonna win this war? Who's gonna lose this war? That's the question. And now we are seeing literally the orange man asking for help from the bloody Putin. We are seeing the orange man asking help from the allies around him. But remember one thing, America for the longest time, since this current administration came to power, they have isolated themselves. They literally did not want to work with the allies. Remember when the orange man literally put tariffs across the whole world, saying, well, American can stand on its own, we don't need anybody there. When you literally isolate yourself against your allies, this is what happens. So the chicken have come home to roost. He's asking for help. And the allies are saying, wait a minute, this war is not ours. This is not our war. We don't know the strategy. We don't know exactly what's going on. Because now everyone is scared. Everybody's scared. They don't want to come into a war that literally, if we're not careful, it might cause a World War III. What are your thoughts? I'd like to hear from you guys. And please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.